The world's Wi-Fi code is our cultural habitat. Hi, I'm Monchiere Holmes-Jones.
And I'm Nancy Youssef. And we're friends.
We are. We've been friends for a minute, but a few days ago we were talking and we both realized we don't like chocolate. Then we talked some more and realized we had brothers that were treated unfairly because of the color of their skin. So much in common, but actually two people from worlds apart, both rich in culture and traditions. Our friendship and our humanity makes us live together, work together, and belong together. Our cultural habitat is the interconnectivity that helps us all live together better.
That's why we founded Cultural Habitat, because we realized our city's ecosystem didn't culturally connect us. We saw during the pandemic, people were blaming brands and businesses for our divide, but really what was happening was the people were not connecting. We had to reach out and learn about each other to create that connectivity.
There's an invisible barrier cultivated by the city we live in. Without realizing it, we have neighborhoods that are only accessible to a certain segment of people, divided by the invisible walls that we've created.
Take Nashville for a minute, where people, Nashvillians, move or transport themselves around the city only within barriers of their own culture. We have populations that are barricaded by a cultural divide in their neighborhoods. This should not be our America.
Look, in New Orleans, where I'm from, everybody goes to Mardi Gras. No matter what color your skin is, you're going to the French Quarter. It's the way we live. My earliest memory of our race, or any race, was as a kid, as 9 years old, riding the streetcar with my mom and my aunt, and seeing someone of another race for the first time. This tall white guy jumps on the train, and I look at my mom in shock and enamor, and I'm like, "Mama, what's wrong with his skin?" And she looked at me embarrassingly, "Girl, he white." No other explanation was ever given. Even into my teenage years, my parents just never talked to me about culture and race. It wasn't until high school when I noticed a lot of my friends and just everybody in the school segregating by race, that it was the natural navigation to how we were going to live. And I noticed the issues that came because of that. It was my sweet grandfather who taught me to use the word racist correctly, though. He told me that everyone is prejudiced, so don't use that word. We all prejudge. And he said, racist is a very specific word, so make sure you use it right. That helped me to love everyone, no matter what it was, until you told me who you were.
Across the world, our heritage is the root of our history and our tradition. Growing up, we moved from city to city and country to country. I never realized that we were different. I never noticed that we were in schools where most kids didn't look like me. My parents didn't talk about it. We just lived, welcoming and embracing everyone. My mom always made desserts, specifically betlewa, or baklava in English, and basbousa, the lesser-known dessert. And everyone loved them. It was our way of introducing our culture to our neighbors. One of the most memorable moments of my life was, as a child, we flew back from Cairo, Egypt to New York City. And it was my mother, my father, and my brother and I. And we sat next to this woman who was coming to New York for the first time in her life. She had never left her country. She had recently been married to someone who immigrated to New York. And he said, in 3 months, I'll have established myself enough for you to come back and live in the US with me. So here she was, first time on a plane, first time leaving her country, by herself, and she found us on the plane. My parents, as they always did, engaged her in conversation, talked to her, made her feel welcome. She spoke no English, and she felt the warmth and the love of the community around her. When we landed in New York in JFK, it was a snowy and cold day. It was winter. And I remember we were going through passport control. We helped her through because she didn't speak the language. We went to baggage claim, helped her through, and then we stood there. We waited and we waited. 30 minutes went by, an hour went by, 2 hours went by, and this woman, full of hope and excitement, wilted into desperation. We searched, nowhere to be found. So finally we said to her, just come back and stay with us. We brought her home. Our community embraced her. We introduced her to our neighbors, to our friends. We helped her find work, and we helped her get on her feet. because eventually this man did not show up. We found out later on that he had married somebody else, lived a whole nother life. But that was my first introduction to our cultural habitat. It was the first time that I realized community could come together and lift people up. So fast forward to today, what's our issue? We know that the lack of recognition of customs breaks down our natural nature of being friends, of caring for one another. So I ask you, what if everyone you met was your friend? What if you never met a stranger?
If friends were humans and humans were friends, we would call all humans friends, and there would be no need to call humans human. Friends are humans, or should be humans, in this cultural habitat. Our world has been turned upside down or right side up. Who knows where it hangs? But what I do know is that having humans as friends and friends as humans makes humans my friend. Nancy and I are from worlds apart. Our cultural habitat is not new math. This is not a new world brain trust, a new way of thinking. It's just what makes us friends. It's understandable to be indifferent when things are not the same or unknown. The only way our friends evolve in this world is to live together, work together, and belong together. Our cultural habitat is to live together better.
2020 is a reset button. Roll with us for a minute. Today, we know that we love the same, we cry the same, and we hurt the same. What if you lived in a world where you never met a stranger? Where you like or love everyone? Is there such an interconnectivity? Yes, it's our cultural habitat. So naturally, in our habitat, our friends are a network. We're just two friends asking humanity to blur our city lines and amplify our connectivity. We need a signal booster to extend our people network and open our hearts to other norms.
The booster is our world's Wi-Fi code. It is our cultural habitat. It's the solution that allows all of us to choose to work together, live together, and belong together. Choose today to be a friend to everyone you meet. Choose today to change the way you think, change the way you live, and change the way you see other people. Hi, I'm Monchiere Holmes-Jones.
And I'm Nancy Youssef, and we're friends.